right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome if you are new here. Thank you guys so much for joining me today, taking time out of your day to come hang out. Things are about to get political. Saying clown show Trump. Oh, trust me, it's a web. It's a tangled web of problems that no single individual has the answers for, but collectively, maybe, just maybe, we can undo some knots. Or make more. I guess we'll find out, won't we? But, but yeah, guys, welcome back to the channel. We have some interesting stuff to talk about. Saying Morning John in chat. Yeah, if you guys like, you can refer to me as John. That's fine as well. Not used to it. Well, I mean, in my real life, I'm used to it. But it's fine. You can call me John. Turns out a PS5 showcase was announced today, boys. We got that PS5 showcase in the form of the Xbox showcase. That was announced today. We're going to be discussing that. We're also going to be talking about a big update for the PlayStation Portal. You invested all your money in the Xbox Gaming Survivor, so you were losing anyway. Gaming Survivor has nothing left to lose. It's crazy the box you guys hate is more consumer friendly than the other two. You praise it so much. Listen, man, I'm gonna have to bring some reality your way. Okay? None of these corporations are consumer friendly. All right? It's not a thing. It's not real. It's an illusion. What was consumer friendly yesterday is now anti-consumer today. That's how they work. All right? People need to stop pretending that Microsoft is looking out for your dollar. They want your dollar. They want all your dollars. Their hands are tied in the way in which they can go about getting your dollars. So they have to change the way in which they go about getting your dollars. We've had this conversation. If Game Pass blows up next year and becomes the next big thing, and suddenly nobody's buying consoles, you think Microsoft isn't going to raise the price? You think they're not going to exploit the fact that, hey, we're top dog now? Oh, they'll be the first to exploit it. People think Microsoft is a different company from the one that we saw back in 2013 and 2014. They're still the same company. I don't know why people don't realize that. If anything, we just got to make sure all these companies stay in check. Hence, competition, the need for competition. What did Microsoft do? They existed. That's what they did, Jerry Kamer. Goddamn Microsoft. I don't know why I'm so energetic today, dude. I don't know. It's weird because like this is what I'm telling you. I'm telling you guys, the past 2 days, I sleep in. I slept till like 8 o'clock, which is late for me. Later. And I got some extra sleep. Today, I wake up at 6 a.m. on like 7 hours of sleep. So it's not like I'm sleep deprived. And I feel great. So I don't know. Getting more sleep actually not good for you? Who knows? But yeah, right now some people do view Microsoft as more consumer friendly because of something like Game Pass. But it is what it is, man. If that's a viable option for you that you believe is going to save you money, I'm not going to tell you not to go for it. The only thing I want to tell people is not to root for the corporation. Like inherently, like don't root for Microsoft as a corporation, because believe me when I tell you, they are not looking out for your money. Okay, they want your money just as much as the next guy, just as much as Sony, just as much as Nintendo. It's all about leverage. It's all about understanding their place in the industry, what they can and cannot get away with, and what they may have to, short-term losses they may have to incur for a long-term gain. And believe me, long-term gain is, again, extracting more money from more people. So just don't lose sight of that fact. Root for the devs? Yeah, root for the developers. Root for the creatives. Nothing wrong with that. Imagine how down bad PS fans must be to now be embracing Xbox showcases as their own. Okay, you're gaslighting. You're gaslighting. Xbox low-key beat PlayStation fans at the mind game. I mean, I guess you could say that, but what do you expect, bro? Like, if Sony came out and said all of our games are going to have like Xbox logos on them during our showcase, Could we really be upset at Xbox fans if they were like calling it an Xbox showcase? No, we couldn't, because it's like, yeah, Hideaki Nishida, or I almost said Jim Ryan, but Herman Hulst, he told me there's going to be PlayStation logos. Sorry, Herman Hulst told me there's going to be PlayStation logos at a PlayStation showcase. He told me there's going to be Xbox logos at a PlayStation showcase. I mean, that's from the horse's mouth, bro. I'm not even the one calling it a PlayStation 5 showcase. This is what Phil Spencer said in his last interview. Speaking of Xbox, though, guys, have you seen those South of Midnight Steam numbers? Yikes. That's a big yikes. So, South of Midnight launched yesterday. So far, the peak, 1,411 concurrent players. 800 playing right now. That's a big yikes. That's not good. Like, see, this is what's weird to me, is like, people come my way, not frequently, but yesterday, and it's like, Last of Us Part 2 is a flop on Steam, bro. Only 30,000 concurrent. Leaving out the fact that it's a 5-year-old game. It's a 5-year-old game. Meanwhile, Microsoft's latest release does like 1/29th of that, dude. Like, are you kidding me? Or like 1/30th? Like, bro, like, focus the energy on where, like, on the thing that's really flopping here, okay? Because it's not The Last of Us Part 2 on Steam. I will say, I don't think The Last of Us Part 2 on Steam is doing amazing or great. I think it's just doing okay. But Jesus, man, they can't even get 1,500 players. That's bad. That's bad. You told me yesterday that early access had less than 500 people. I was confused when you said that, because I forgot there was an early access period. But okay, boss, it's too early to start this. It's too early to start. All right. Hold on, I gotta deal with this guy. Not today. Boss's ass appeared. Yeah, I'm sorry. Demonetized for cat butt? I hope not, dude. I hope not. But yeah, we'll talk about some of the updates today that we got for PS Portal, and Marathon is apparently confirmed to be releasing this year. Saying South of Midnight's actually a pretty solid game with original Nightmare Before Christmas type graphics and a great soundtrack. I mean, it is kind of unfortunate to see what it's doing on Steam, because from what I hear, it's a pretty good game overall. It's not like a bad game or like some kind of a dumpster fire of a game. It just seems like it doesn't have much appeal. Don't do it, boss. Don't do it. Come on, man. I don't like the fact that boss realized he can actually jump on the desk like this now. What's this about a showcase being announced? The Xbox/PS5 showcase has been announced. But in all seriousness, the Xbox showcase was announced. It's happening June 8th. And it seems like this is going to be a very different showcase compared to any other Xbox showcase, for the obvious reason that a lot of the games, if not all of the games, are going to be announced for PS5. And they announced there's going to be an Outer Worlds 2 Direct immediately after. And Outer Worlds 2 was confirmed for PS5. So, yeah, this seems to be the way Microsoft is handling their showcases these days, where they do a big, like, hour and a half long showcase, and then after that they have like a half hour dedicated to one specific game. Pretty cool. Maybe Sony should consider trying to do something like that, but it's going to be a third-party direct. I mean, yeah, basically. Boss, I swear to God. What are you doing? Saying PlayStation games aren't necessarily must-play. If the games are good, they'll sell on PC. If they want more sales, then day and date. Releases need to happen. I mean, I can agree with that. Yeah, I don't. You're gonna shut my PC down, boss. You're gonna. You can only really expect so much, excitement for a game like The Last of Us Part 2. It's a 5-year-old game at this point. It's like we're finally releasing on PC. I mean, yeah, like what is the anticipation level truly going to be for something like that? I feel like it's going to be, I don't want to say minimal, but just, nowhere near what it would have been like a year after or something. Hold on one sec. More PC flops, please. You want more flops? How many times can you release 2 games? Well, apparently we got another Last of Us 1 and 2 package coming. Jeez, man. Yeah. You're saying The Last of Us 2 wasn't even a popular game to begin with? Eh, I think it was popular, but I just think it was popular for some of the wrong reasons. Check Naughty Dog's official page. Why? Why Ghost of Pennsylvania? Is there something important there? You think The Last of Us had 5 sequels? Well, Neil Druckmann was asked again about The Last of Us Part 3, and he keeps heavily insinuating that they're not doing it, but it's like does anybody believe that? Whatever you think of them, there's no denying Microsoft is out here making moves, releasing games, announcing showcases, and making noise on all platforms. Yeah, I mean, there's no denying that, dude. Listen, I will say, I would much rather be sitting here talking about a PlayStation showcase being announced than an Xbox showcase. There's no denying that. Like, it is more exciting this time around knowing that when I go to tune into the Xbox showcase, most of those games, or maybe even all of those games, are going to become the PS5. That's awesome. That's a huge shift from last year and every year prior. And I'm happy about that. But there's no denying that it's like, bro, I would, like, Sony, come on. Like, you doing a showcase or what? I've been asking for a showcase for like almost 2 years now. And Sony's just still like, well, mm, maybe, I don't know. Herman's still on vacation, apparently. But but I mean, I'll ask you guys, do you feel differently going into this Xbox showcase knowing that like they're not going to hide the fact that these games are coming to PS5? It's going to be front and center, apparently, like with all the other platforms. Does this change your excitement level, your interest level, or does it not really change it at all? I think for some people it doesn't change. If I had to assume, for some people it doesn't change, but I think for a lot of people it definitely does change. You know, like I think it makes people just naturally more inclined to pay closer attention. You know, you're saying you were already playing on PC. Illegal Monkey says more games for me, so no complaints. Were you guys seeing this Xbox showcase? Well, I actually have the write up here. So this comes from the Xbox Wire. They say Xbox Game Showcase followed by the Outer Worlds 2 Direct airs June 8th. Make some space on your calendar. The Xbox Game Showcase 2025 will be live streamed on Sunday, June 8th, starting at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. UK time. Following in the footsteps of the 2023 Starfield Direct and the 2024 Call of Duty Black Ops 6 Direct, this year we will again have a double feature with the Xbox Game Showcase immediately followed by the Outer Worlds 2 Direct. It all begins with our annual Xbox Game Showcase, bringing you a look at upcoming titles across our first-party studios, in addition to incredible new titles from our third-party partners across the globe. This year, the show will be digital only. Our live stream will bring you everything you'll need to know about what's next for Xbox, no matter where in the world you're watching. Immediately following the showcase, the Outer Worlds 2 Direct will bring you inside the walls of Obsidian Entertainment, revealing new gameplay details and developer insights straight from the people making the sequel to the award-winning first-person sci-fi RPG. So yeah, there it is. And they say the double feature broadcast also kicks off a week a week's worth of coverage here on Xbox Wire, the official Xbox podcast, and on their official YouTube channel. So that was officially announced. That's a thing that's happening. They announced it pretty early. They pretty much announced it 2 months in advance. I don't know if that's usual for them. I feel like it might be. You looking forward to this third-party publisher showcase? Ghost of Yotei plus Wolverine. Boss, you need to listen, dude. Ghost of Yotei, Wolverine, GTA 6 State of Play would stop my heart. Did they announce it this early with the last one? I think you're right. I think, yeah, Microsoft likes to announce these things pretty well in advance, which is not a bad thing. So when it comes to my expectations for the showcase, I have to admit they're pretty high overall. Last year's Xbox showcase was really good. Like, the one big thing about Microsoft owning so many different studios and having so many different IPs and games in development at one time, that pretty much guaranteed every time they do a yearly showcase, they're going to have a lot to bring to the table. So I'm expecting this year's Xbox showcase to be another like hour and a half long show. And, you know, whether or not they're going to have like some major surprises, that's hard to say. But the big thing I'm going to be looking out for, honestly, is not even like PS5. I mean, obviously that's a given, but State of Decay 3. I feel like we've gotten minimal info about State of Decay 3, and I don't know. I still have high hopes for this game. I'm hoping it'll be announced for PS5, but I'm hoping we're going to get a really solid look at it this time around, and maybe get a release date or something. But all the games on Xbox Showcase will be PS5, so why should Sony do their own showcase? Well, the two biggest reasons Sony has to do their own showcase, in my opinion, is because they need to, you know, they have an obligation to third-party partners, where PlayStation is a massive third-party platform. So they have to give their partners the opportunity to show off some of their games. You know, I think about like Resident Evil 9, something like that. Like, Sony has to give them the opportunity to reveal these things in association with PlayStation. But also the biggest reason, their own games, dude. Their own games. I don't know if Sony's going to do a showcase this year, but it's going to be a bad look, truly, in my opinion, if Sony doesn't do a showcase, but instead we get a massive showcase from Xbox, and it's like, yeah, I mean, is it possible that let's say Sony does a State of Play instead of a showcase? Is it possible Xbox could have a more exciting show overall because it's a massive showcase and all those games are going to be coming to PS5? And there's more buzz about possibly PS5 during that time than there is even a State of Play. This is where I think Sony's got to make sure they're still, keeping the excitement levels relatively high. I mean, if they do decide to do a State of Play, it's got to be a damn good one. That is true. PlayStation has gone multiple years in the past without a proper showcase. I think if they don't do a showcase this year, that'll be the longest they've ever went, which would be a little bit concerning. Don't take away their dreams. What do you mean? Hold on. You don't think all games will be day and date on PlayStation? I mean, why wouldn't they be? Like, I guess my question would be, what makes you think that Microsoft isn't going to do that? I'm not here definitively saying, because I don't know, but after everything that's happened, I feel like if you're thinking Microsoft's going to hold back and be like, well, we'll pick and choose, I think you're not really not ready. Okay, well, that's all right. That's a fair, yeah, that's a fair point. I could see that. Basically saying that like there might be some games that they would put on PS5, but they're just simply not ready to go optimization wise. Okay, yeah, I could see that. So I guess in that case, I wouldn't necessarily be expecting everything. But I feel like the implication from Microsoft themselves is that like they want they want PS5 players to tune in, like they do. Like they want to get PS5 players just as excited as Xbox players or Switch players for that matter, right? Especially now that the Switch 2 is going to be out. I mean, we've been hearing all year about a Gears of War collection for PS5 or something like a Halo Master Chief collection coming to PS5 and Switch. And it's like the announcement hasn't happened yet. Is it possible Microsoft just announces that themselves? I mean, that'd be kind of crazy. A Gears of War collection, I could see them announcing at their show. I could see that because, that's going to get Xbox fans excited. But then they're also going to say it's also coming to PS5 and maybe Switch. Dark Cloud, I don't know. I haven't turned on my PS5 yet today. I'm going to have to check later on if I got that update. It's a nice little update they're putting out there. You forgot that Avowed exists? So another big thing I'm going to be on the lookout for with this Xbox showcase this year is if there is the announcement of, like, let's just say Gears of War E-Day, right? Here's the release date. It's coming out November or like December. It's just like it's coming out the end of this year. PS5 day one. Like that is going to be a big deal, I think. I don't know that people will like go crazy over it because it's not like shocking, like, oh my God, who could have seen that coming? But it's more like, all right, well, there it is, like the first big day one drop, on PS5 from Xbox. That's not a port, or a port of a game that already came out. That's going to be a pretty big deal. So I'm going to be looking out for that. I'm going to be obviously hoping for some more State of Decay 3. And, there's going to be third party there as well. That's not Xbox. So we'll see I think I saw a rumor earlier. Let me see. Let me see if I can bring it up. Hold on. Ecstasis is saying Hollow Knight Silk Song is scheduled for the Xbox showcase on June 8th. So, you know, I think people are going to go pretty crazy over that. Everybody, I think, assumed that was going to be at, you know, did they have a deal with Xbox? I didn't know that. Okay. I guess that does make sense then. It seemed like people were anticipating that was going to show up at the Switch 2 event. That Terminator game is on sale for $12. Do I like it? You talking about Terminator Resistance, Chris? If that's the one you're talking about, yeah, it was a pretty good game. It's definitely a bit rough, but I don't know. I enjoyed it. It was a good time. It's a playable game. It's not like garbage. I mean, I could see somebody playing it and thinking it's garbage, but I don't know. It nailed the tone and the atmosphere. I enjoyed it. It's likely going to be a longer timeline, probably going into PlayStation 6 before all Xbox games release day one on PlayStation. Most of the studios are still transitioning, and it will take time. That would make sense. Yeah. I mean, it is always, it is very much a possibility that it's just a logistics thing where like the wheels are already in motion, the message is sent, but it's just literally not feasible to have it ready in time. It's like I have no doubt, looking at the Steam numbers for South of Midnight, I have no doubt in my mind that if they were able to drop that game today on PS5, they would. I have no doubt. But it's just simply that Compulsion built the game from the ground up for Xbox, and it's just not, they're a smaller team. It's just not ready. They don't have anything ready for PlayStation. Yeah, I heard the RoboCop game is pretty good. What do I think about Nintendo saying if you can't afford the Switch 2, buy the Switch instead? I mean, I think it's one of those things that you try to avoid saying because history has proven that like it just is not a good look. Like people are never going to respond well to that. Do I think some people are losing it over it, like a bit too much? Yeah. Because what's kind of funny to look back on. People refer to like Don Matrick and the Xbox One, and when he said like we have a product for those customers, people need to understand there's a difference. Don Matrick was responding to a specific question about internet connection, not pricing. He was asked like, so for Xbox customers who maybe don't have, because you have to remember the Xbox One was supposed to be online only, 24-hour internet connection or check-in or whatever. Um, he was asked directly, like, what do you have to say to Xbox customers who don't have internet like that? And that's when he said, like, well, we have a product for those customers. It's called Xbox 360. I feel like that's a little bit different because if you recall, Microsoft was getting steamrolled or dragged over the coals for more than just pricing. The pricing was bad. They came out $100 more expensive than the PS4 because of the Kinect, and they were getting dragged for that, understandably so. But people were mad at Microsoft for like 10 different reasons. And I think, to look at what Doug Bowser's saying, yeah, it definitely calls back to that time that Don Matrick said what he said about the 360. But at the same time, man, like I guess my question is what else would he say? I'm not sure. I'm not PR trained, right? So like I don't know if he was told like you just got to say it, that like say the line. I mean, if I was Nintendo, I don't know what I would say. Like if I was running interviews for Nintendo, right, as like the head, and I was asked like what do you say to customers who can't afford the Switch 2? I would turn around and say I'm so sorry. We're going to lower the price right now. No. I don't know what I would say. Say sucks for them. I don't know. That's a genuine I mean, I'm being serious. Like I'm not sure what I would say. I'm not sure that's a tough position to be in. Say anything but what Don Matrick said. Yeah, there you go. Even saying the weather's nice today. Yeah, just completely dodge the question. How about that weather, huh? So that's what you have to say to Nintendo players who can't afford to Switch 2? Great weather. Very nice out. Did he actually say that, or are people twisting his words? I did read the quote. I don't know if I still have it up. Let me see if I can find the exact quote. Nintendo has indefinitely delayed the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2 in China. Oh my God. Bro, Nintendo picked quite literally the worst time to launch a new console. Jesus, man. I kind of feel bad for Nintendo. They're in this really tough spot. So Doug Bowser, this is the full quote. He says, as we look at Nintendo Switch 2, when you think about the feature sets that I talked about, we believe that the pricing is appropriate for the value of the machine and the gameplay experience overall. We recognize there are some people that may not be able to afford the Nintendo Switch 2 price point. That's why we wanted to make the other Switch platforms available, so people still have an opportunity to come in our gaming universe, be a part of these characters in these worlds, and see value, if you will, in whatever rung of the platform they come in. So, here's the direct quote from Don Matrick in comparison. Quote, we have a product for people who aren't able to get some form of connectivity. It's called Xbox 360. So, I'll be honest, man, like when you read those quotes back to back, they are very different. I would argue that what Doug is saying is much more palatable than Don Matrick. I mean, he straight up came off like an asshole. And Titus comes in and drops a membership gift for you guys. Titus, thank you so much for kicking off the hopefully what will be a member train today. Always appreciate the support, my friend. And he drops a second gift. He's doing some singles. He's getting a single train going. Love to see it, Titus. Yeah, Don Matrick was just straight up like, yeah, it's called Xbox 360. But no, it sucks, man. It does because, nobody really wants to be told, like, that thing that you've been playing for the past 10 years? Yeah, that you just stay there. I mean, that sucks. There's no way around it. It sucks. But yeah, man, it is what it is. I think that people are, probably still gonna buy it, if I had to guess. Like I know that this this brings back PTSD flashbacks of the Xbox One, but I don't think the Switch 2 is in that kind of trouble. Not even close. Not even remotely close. What was the Portal update? We got a couple things with the Portal update. So with the PlayStation Portal update, they're saying it's still in beta, the cloud streaming, but they're saying here you can now sort games in cloud streaming. In the cloud streaming catalog screen, there will be a new sort icon added to the top left corner, allowing you to sort games recently added to PS Plus, default, name, and release date. You can capture gameplay now. So you press once, the display, it says press once, display the create menu, press and hold, take a screenshot, press twice, start/finish recording a video clip. Images and videos captured during a streaming session will be automatically uploaded to the cloud server, which can be accessed from the PlayStation app by selecting library captures. Your captures will be stored for 14 days after they were created. They're adding a queue. You can now wait for your turn to play when the streaming server is full. The estimated wait time will be displayed on screen, and the game session will automatically start as soon as it's your turn. And pause. During a cloud streaming beta game session, gameplay will now pause in the following situations. Gameplay will pause when you open the PS Portal quick menu. You can open the quick menu by pressing the PlayStation button. When you press the power button once, PlayStation Portal will be put into rest mode, and the game will be paused. You can unpause and get back to your gameplay by pressing the power button again. Notification of inactivity. You will now receive a system notification when a streaming session is about to close due to inactivity for over 10 minutes. User feedback screen. We have added a user feedback screen at the end of the streaming session to rate the quality of your streaming experience. So this will help them improve it. And that's about it so far. So it's pretty significant, I would say, for the Portal, considering this was never even originally positioned as a cloud streaming device. Yeah, I mean, the Portal's getting better and better, man. I think it's becoming a much more viable product for people who are interested in that type of experience. Is the Pro worth upgrading to? I mean, I'll be honest with you, man. If you're thinking about getting a Pro, now is the time to do it, like right now, because the prices are about to go up. So I don't even know that. I mean, I think it's a great console. I'm glad I got one because, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen, but when it all is, said and done and the dust settles, I'll just be glad that I got my PS5 Pro at $700 for but it's going to be more expensive if you want the disc drive, of course, but there is there are some games where you're going to not see as big of a difference, but the games that are taking advantage of it looks very good. Very, very good. Corey says, "Morning, sir. Let me contribute to your treats." It's an incredible bit of kit. Bit of kit. I don't like saying that. And Corey the legend comes in and does exactly that. He contributes to the treats. He drops a 5-bomb on you guys, bringing us up to 7 members. Thank you so much, Corey.
I'll be back.
Every time, Corey says, "I'll be back, bro. I'll be back, boss." We have to get a little statue, a little boss statue. I don't know how we're gonna make that happen, but I was talking to Mrs. Heavy G about that. Like, we have to create a shrine. But Corey, thank you so much for always supporting the channel and the content, man. Did you see the Days Gone graphics in the new trailer taken from the PS5 Pro? It looks stunning. It looks awesome, dude. I can't wait. I'm stoked. I'm stoked to replay Days Gone. I actually kind of forgot, like, yeah, it's right around the corner, dude. April 25th. And I haven't played Days Gone, I think, since 2019. So I'm ready. And yeah, I think that new Horde trailer that they showed off looked really good. It looked really good. I mean, the Hordes were the best part of Days Gone. And that was like some of the most fun I had playing that game. So I'm very excited for it. Absolutely. And yeah, it does look good. I don't think it looks massively different than, the PS4 version, but you can see some improvements for sure. It's interesting because like when you go on that trailer, all people are doing is demanding. They're just absolutely demanding a Days Gone 2. A Days Gone 2. And it's like, come on, Sony. Read the room. Come on, Bend. Read the room. Look at what everybody they're demanding it. Boss knows I ain't a hero. How can Sony greenlight a remaster of a game but also cancel Days Gone 2? Well, the situation with Days Gone is complicated. Sony didn't cancel Days Gone 2. Apparently, Days Gone 2 was never officially pitched to Sony. It was never pitched. The problem was with Ben's studio. A large portion of the studio did not want to make Days Gone 2. And so there was kind of a power struggle internally at the studio. And by the end of it, like I said, the leads who worked on Days Gone ended up departing the studio, and whoever was left decided to work on something different. And now we know whatever they chose to work on was canceled, unfortunately. And now Ben has no choice but to kind of lean into Days Gone because that was the last big thing they made. And as for what they'll do next, I'm just going to say, man, I think that it would be very, very surprising if Ben Studio does not do a Days Gone 2 at this point. Considering how many people are asking for it, I think it's the safest bet. And I understand that some of the developers at Ben Studio might not want to do that, but I don't know, man. I don't could it really be that bad? Like you're gonna make a game that is gonna make a lot of fans really happy, and is probably gonna do very well. Maybe after that, maybe after you do Days Gone 2, you could try doing something new again. But I understand it's a tough call. Like if you're a developer, working at a studio, you don't necessarily want to work on a game for 6 or 7 years that you aren't excited to work on. So I get that, but I don't know. I'm not sure what else they could do. I guess they could try to get a new single player IP greenlit. They could try that, but you just had to pay your PS Plus, Ice Queen Gaming. Guys, I'm not sponsored, but Mrs. MBG these are not treats, boss. We got some pickle balls. Vlasic. Boss, you want some pickle balls, bro? Dill pickle corn puffs. Okay. Not sponsored, but, had to show you. Bro, they're not treats. Oh my God. Okay. I'm sorry, boss. I shouldn't have. We should have done this. Whiskey's like, I bet those are good. Dude, I've been eating pickles like crazy. So I guess that's why Mrs. MBG picked them up. Illegal Monkey's like, ew. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to be good or not. There's a difference between a pickle and a pickle ball. All right. Read the ingredients. I'd rather not. You think Ben needs to reintroduce Siphon Filter? That would be interesting. Bro, I've been eating Devil Child says those are fire. We need a live review. Try them. All right, if we hit the member goal, I'll do a live review. Cuz what if they're awful, dude? I'll have to wash it down with pickle juice. Capono says, I just joined and the first thing I heard was MBG saying pickle. Yeah, we're talking about pickles right now. Boss, get down. Come on, man. Put at least one ball in your mouth. Try. You want me to put a green ball in my mouth? Is that what you're saying? That's what you want? Boss. Yeah, I don't know what you just walked into. Siphon filter? Is that what we were talking about? They're my pickleballs. Mine. Sorry about that. An illegal monkey comes in. He's like, bro, we got to get MBG back here. I got to drop a 5 bomb. That'll bring him back. Illegal monkey, thank you so much, man.
How can you stop? How can you stop?
We hit the goal. I'll try some pickleballs. We are at 12 members, though, which is good to see. Thank you so much for that, illegal monkey. See what Mrs. MBG does? She causes complete chaos. Wait, no, we're at 13. My bad. Wait, no. 12. Sorry. Can't math. No, you know what pickles I've been eating lately, though? And they're, like, really, really good? Grillos. I've had them before, but, man, I don't know if they, like, improved their recipe or something, but they are, I think, the best pickles. They're really, really good. So, again, not sponsored, but if you're looking for a good pickle, try Grillos. Yeah, they might be disgusting. Okay wanted me to read the ingredients. Hold on, let me see. Degermed yellow cornmeal. Great. Off to a great start. Vegetable oil. Not great. Seasoning blend. Maltodextrin, salt, citric acid, spice. Monosodium glutamate. Bro, they put MSG in here. So, boss, these are not treats. I'll give you one. But you ain't going to want to eat it. They actually put MSG in here. Guys, hold on one sec. All right, guys, I'm sorry I have to keep walking away. So there's like this crazy crow or raven. I don't know if I think it was a crow, but Mrs. MBG told me I had to see it. It was right on the tree outside my house, and it's crazy. It's the biggest crow I've ever seen, man. It looked like something straight out of like Elden Ring or Bloodborne or something. So I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign or what. Maybe Bloodborne 2 confirmed. I'm not sure. But anyway, what were we talking about? Video games? Yeah, dude, those things don't seem very healthy. It's all just chemicals. It could have been a raven. It was huge. Yeah, and I think ravens are pretty big. All right. Got to try to get back on track here. Sorry I had to walk away so many times. Have Ben try to make a stealth action title, mocking a mecha enemy in production. Might motivate the return of the legend, Kojima. Might be destined to remind us all. I do wonder with Fizzant being in development and considering Fizzant is supposed to be, again, Kojima's return to, stealth, tactical, espionage. I wonder if, like, Sony would be less inclined to greenlight a stealth game or a stealth action game from Ben. But I think Ben trying to go in the stealth action direction could make a lot of sense. What is a flock of ravens called? They're called a murder, right? Wait. A group of ravens is called an unkindness of ravens. What? Fred, what are you doing to me, bro? A murder of crows. What? Why is it telling me it's called an unkindness of ravens? Anyway. So when is the showcase? The Xbox showcase is June 8th. Boss is like, give me my pickleballs, bro. June 8th. Yeah, I thought that's what it was called, like a murder of crows, right? But I Googled it, and it's literally, it says a flock. If ravens have been appearing to you, it could be a sign that you possess the same resilience. You can make the best of any situation, even when you have limited resources. Ravens symbolize psychic power and mysticism. Many believe that ravens are deeply connected with psychic ability, magic, and the occult. Well, shit. We're going to weather the storm, boys. They're called a conspiracy. Oh, hold on. I think that did pop up. Creative nouns for a group of ravens include a conspiracy, a treachery, a rave, a rave, and an unkindness. Okay. I like rave. Yo, there's a rave outside. Yo. Cult of MBG. What about the PS5 showcase? The Xbox showcase is a PS5 showcase. 0 point. It is a PS5 showcase. What do you call a crow at a party? I don't know. A party crow? Showcase June 8th. June 8th. A group of teddy bears is called a huggle. Titus, did you make that up? Josh, did you send a direct donation? Let me, Josh, thank you for the direct donation, buddy. You're saying if docked is comparable. Well, hold on. I don't know if that's a... Okay. Yeah, you're saying if docked is comparable to PS4, then I hope the Switch 2 doesn't get major third-party support for future games. That'll certainly hold games back well into the PlayStation 6. Yeah, that's something I haven't really seen many people talking about, and I did cover this in my video today. Digital Foundry pretty much confirmed that at least for third-party games like Cyberpunk, Final Fantasy, and Elden Ring and stuff like that, you're basically looking at PS4, like base PS4 levels of performance and output, which I think is fine in terms of like, if you're buying this hybrid console that can also be handheld or they can be handheld or docked, I think that's fine. Like, 1080p 30 frames per second, I think a lot of people absolutely can play games like that. Like, let's face it, when we were playing on PS4s, that's what we were playing, like games at 1080p 30. But we're well beyond that at this point. I don't think that's not the standard. That obviously shouldn't be the standard. I think we're beyond that. So yeah, there is this kind of like slight concern that, a lot of for me, my prediction is that a lot of games are not going to target the Switch 2. I think they're just simply not going to be able to. Could the Switch 2 end up holding back something like the PS6? Maybe. But I just, in terms of, moving forward and progressing and creating new standards, but also scalability, right? MBG remembers the good days when you didn't count pixels and frame rates. Well, I did say in my video today that, dude, there's no way I could go back to 1080p 30 as like the standard. That's the big thing. Like, this is why I'm still not convinced that people are going to make the Switch 2 their standard go-to console, because it's like, we're so far beyond that now. 4K has been the standard for years now. And 60 FPS has also, I would say, been the standard for years now. So the idea of going back on both, I think, is tough. Boss, stop hissing. You could go back to 30, no problem. Devil Shooter says 1080p I'm cool with. 30 FPS, however. I mean, yeah, 1080. There have been games that have released this generation on the PS5 that are 1080p 60 FPS, like if you want the performance mode. Looking forward to the PS5 SOP Steam show. That's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to call the PlayStation 5 in parentheses Steam showcase announced. I see what you did there. I see what you did there, Vinino. It's a little different. It's a little bit different. Just a little bit. You need that near 4K image. Bro, that crow is out there. Or that raven. I don't know if it's a crow or raven. It's out there. It's taunting me. I hear it. Guys, I'm scared. What is it trying to say? Hold on. PS5 sales drop well below Switch 2 price when it's so easy to access a better alternative. Jesus. That thing is massive.
I told you the crows like me. You thought I was crazy.
Are you sure it's a crow and not a raven?
That's a crow.
All right.
And it likes me.
We have Venom Fang 181 with a $2 chat. He says, I'm not cool with either. PS5 Pro has me spoiled. I mean, I'm pretty much in that same boat. Like I did say yesterday, I'd be more likely, I should say, to go to PC than to go backwards to something like the Switch 2. But that's just me. I do feel a bit spoiled at this point. I can still tolerate, obviously games with. It's not always about like the resolution and the frame rates, it's important, but it's not the be all end all. But I do have limits, No VRR, no Atmos, no HDMI 2.1, no RGB HDR. Miss Moon, you're saying growing up gaming in the 90s, I'm okay with lower res and frame rates as long as the game is good and playable. Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, most people are very forgiving as long as the game is good and playable, like you're saying. I just think what people don't want is to see any type of like industry-wide regression where like it feels like we're taking steps back, like developers are taking steps back purposely. I don't think that'll happen though. I don't think it's likely. I think if anything, what we could see is current gen games, future current gen games, or like in, beyond that, like PS6 games and next gen Xbox games. I could see them being made for, those consoles. And then afterwards, maybe they have like a separate team kind of dedicated to making the Switch 2 port and the Switch 2 version, which will take a lot more time and effort. That's something I could see happening, but there's too many unknown factors still, I think, to really determine that. Jack, you're saying you have no interest in handheld gaming at all? If you want a game, you prefer to sit down on your couch comfortably rather than looking at a tiny screen and moving around? Beast Mode says Shadows on the Pro with PSSR on looks really good, slightly better, which is impressive considering how good the game looks on Pro pre-PSSR. Yeah, I saw that too. I watched, I think it was El Analista de Bits, their comparison video, and it's not like a night and day difference with PSSR on or off, but when you turn PSSR on in Assassin's Creed Shadows, you can see a noticeable difference. And that's impressive when you consider the fact that I think Assassin's Creed Shadows right now is quite literally, I think, the best looking PS5 Pro game out there. And so they just made it even better. And people are saying that it seems like PSSR has gotten a little bit better as well. So it's, I mean, that's the type of stuff that I expect is going to become more standard, with upcoming AAA games. Like they're going to look as good as Assassin's Creed. Like that's going to become the norm. MBG, at my age and at this point in my life, I need portable gaming or else my hobby will disappear. I just don't have the time. That's understandable. Yeah. I think the good thing is we're seeing we're seeing more options emerge than ever before. I think that's a good thing. Where's the PlayStation Showcase? I don't know, man. Still no word on it. I feel like we haven't been hearing too much about Sony. It's been a little bit here and there, but right now all eyes are on Marathon, and I suspect that Marathon's going to have the spotlight for PlayStation. You know, guys, did you see that Marathon is available to, I think, wishlist on Xbox, but not on PlayStation? Do you guys see this? Like, this is kind of weird. Sony, what are you doing, man? What's what's going on, Sony? You think we're not getting a showcase? The only way I could forgive Sony for not doing a showcase is if instead they do a oh, Marathon is, you can wishlist it on the PlayStation Store. Okay. Thank you, Mr. B. I didn't know that. I thought it was just available on Xbox. I was gonna say it's like a weird look on Sony's part. Like, Sony, you trying to send us a message? What's going on? I got scared there for a second. You think Death Stranding 2 is going to take the prize for best looking game? I could see that. Yeah. Oh, by the way, talking about Marathon and video game graphics, it was confirmed by Bungie that the trailer they just put out, not in engine. So that's not what the game is going to look like. I think it's giving a general idea of what it'll look like, but in terms of what the game, I mean, is actually going to look like when you're playing it, yeah, it seems to be CGI. Yeah. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know if we should be worried. I don't think anybody's worried. I just think people are a little bit surprised. But yeah, that's you think it's bad? I hope not. I mean, that would be so disappointing. I feel like Bungie doesn't make bad looking games. Yeah, apparently Titanfall 3 is real. Yep. Apparently it's a real thing. It's going to be, here's what's interesting. The latest rumor about Titanfall 3 is that I think it is going to have, well, let me bring it up here. Hold on. So this comes from Ovaltador, who I think is a Apex Legends leaker. They say it's being developed. Titanfall 3 is being developed in Unreal Engine 5. It's almost complete. It has a single player campaign. It will be a live service with battle passes. The main game mode is extraction. So we could very well be looking at the main competitors here in the extraction shooter space in the not too distant future being Marathon and Titanfall 3. Other modes are TDM, Control, Arenas, all Titanfall 2 classic modes, some returning Apex characters. There's going to be a weather system. So if this leaker is to be believed, Jeff Grubb's denying Titanfall 3? Really? Wow. Okay, hold on. You're saying Jeff Grubb poured water on this? How could there be such a disconnect though? Did he pour water on it on Twitter, I'm guessing? Latest Titanfall 3 rumors are not real, according to Jeff Grubb. Don't get your hopes up for Titanfall 3 just yet, after a leak came out suggesting that Titanfall 3 is almost complete, along with a number of planned features. One prominent journalist has publicly reported that none of the leaked information is accurate. On the latest episode of Game Breaking News, Jeff Grubb shot down the claims, saying, quote, "This isn't real. I'm sorry, it's not real." Grubb then went on to talk about Respawn having a small team that is probably messing around with games that have Titans in them. Does Titanfall 1 director Steve Fukuda, have something like a prototype that has Titans in it? I would guess so. I don't know for sure, but I would certainly assume that is a safe thing to think. Now, is that going to get announced in 2025 and released in 2026? No way. He then touched on the fact that EA has been on a trend of canceling various games at Respawn. Those cancellations include Titanfall Legends, which was a previous version of Titanfall 3. Damn. Okay. Well, shit. I mean, I'll definitely take Jeff Grubb's word over this person I've never heard of before. That sucks. Well, good thing we shot that down real quick. Good thing we shot that down real quick because I think that got a lot of people very excited. I did see that the PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium catalog was announced. So for PlayStation Plus Extra, Hogwarts Legacy, Blueprints, Lost Records, Bloom and Rage Tape 2, EA Sports PGA Tour, Battlefield 1, Played Up, Alone in the Dark 2, War of the Monsters. Yeah, was Battlefield 1 about to have a like a resurgence in player count now? Oh, by the way, forgot to mention this as well. MBGB believing anything. Well, I mean, you know, it's the second time we saw a rumor about Titanfall 3, but what was I just, oh yeah, so Tom Henderson is saying that Titanfall not Titanfall. Tom Henderson is confirming that Marathon is releasing this year. Saying Grubb has been wrong lately. Dude, this would be a big one for him to be wrong about. Also, I just realized my member goal isn't there anymore. Hold on. I mean, he's being pretty definitive about it, you know? Like he's just straight up saying like it's not real. I have seen people point out that Jeff Grubb has been wrong. I don't think any insider has a perfect track record, but this would be a pretty big one to be wrong about. Battlefield Bad Company 2 Dreamer. Oh, yeah, dude. I mean, I'm excited about the Battlefield revival. It looks promising from what we've seen so far. You know, the leaked gameplay. I think it looks good. It looks like Battlefield 3 and 4. But yeah, dude, I think the true peak of Battlefield, I think, was Bad Company 2. He was right about God of War. Masochist Mode, are you... I feel like he's right. Masochist Mode, are you behind on the stream? You're saying you were able to wish list. I think Masochist Mode might be a little... Hold on, I'm going to tell him in the chat. I'm going to ask him. I'm glad he told me, though. You won't be hyped for Battlefield until you see gameplay on day one release. Don't do it, MBG. Battlefield has terrible launches. You're living in the past, man. I mean, yeah, this Battlefield launch could be disastrous as well. They have a lot to prove, but I don't know, man. It's a whole new team working on it, and they seem very serious about winning the fans back, which I can get behind that. It doesn't mean I'm assuming. Doesn't mean I'm assuming that it's going to be fine. He's Kyle Reese. He's been sent back. Really got Terminator on the mind lately, man. I think me and Hanzo are on the same wavelength here. You can tell the new Battlefield already plays great. Jack, you're saying good. It seems like Duskblood is Bloodborne 2. Guess we don't have to ask and beg Sony for Bloodborne anymore. No, dude. Duskblood is not Bloodborne 2. No, that is not Bloodborne 2. Q Snake screaming from the chopper to Raiden. No, that is not Bloodborne 2. Not my Bloodborne. No, it really seems like it's nothing like Bloodborne. And we have Moonshot with another direct donation. Thank you, Moonshot, saying, shout out to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 on PS5 Pro. It is quite the looker and love letter for the Pro. Also, I will send you a review once I beat it. Kingdom Come 2 is goddamn. I was going to say impressive, but you said goddamn massive. You are not the only person, certainly not, Moonshot, to tell me how much you're enjoying Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. It's not my cup of tea, but every person that's played it, I've only heard positive things. I've only heard good things. Like, actually, not even just positive, like overwhelmingly positive things. Like, I've straight up seen people saying it's their game of the year easily. So I'm glad to hear it, man. And yeah, it is nice that they're really supporting the PS5 Pro. It's actually really nice to see that that team supporting the Pro, because they're not a huge team. You know, they're a pretty small team, and they're still going above and beyond. Love to see it. What's the point? Miyazaki chose to make a game as a service clone over the actual thing. The Bloodborne 2 dream is dead. I don't think so, man. I don't. My intuition tells me that no, like, we're gonna get a proper Bloodborne sequel. I just think that's a PlayStation 6 thing. I'm telling you. I think Sony's gonna make it happen. Now that I've said that, it will absolutely never happen. It's called Velvet Veil. Speaking of Game of the Year, Mr. B says Astro swept the BAFTAs. Yeah, dude, Sony had a really strong presence at the BAFTAs. I mean, I know we don't care too much about the BAFTAs, but that's like the big award show for developers. That's the one that gets, I think, like, you know, the most respect from a development standpoint. And Astro, yeah, took home 5, and I think it took like the best game award. Helldivers won multiplayer and best multiplayer and soundtrack. So they did a good job. And there were apparently Still Wakes the Deep, I think that's the name of the game, like an indie horror game, won a BAFTA as well, which was kind of surprising. I don't believe that, okay? You're saying Bloodborne won't be worked on until Miyazaki retires or leaves FromSoft? I think bro, why wouldn't he want to make a sequel? He's went on record saying that was his favorite game that he worked on. I don't know, though. Maybe that's why he doesn't want to. Maybe he's afraid of like ruining it or something. Last of Us Season 2, 92% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. Don't make me do it. Don't make me. I don't want to go through this again. Don't make me go through it again. Why does Sony keep feeding me this? Sony won't stop. They keep forcing me to relive The Last of Us Part 2, man. You're there day 1 for The Last of Us Season 2? I mean, I'm still probably going to watch it. I feel like I'm probably not going to enjoy it, though. And that's so weird, because it's like, that's been my experience with The Last of Us Part 2 just every time. It's like, yeah, I want to experience it, but I also know I'm not going to enjoy the experience. So it's kind of like this weird conundrum. Due to brain rot, Bloodborne fans switch to FromSoft game is $120 base. Brain rot Bloodborne fans. Johnny Gaming says, MBG, why are you still hurt over Joel? It's not even like being hurt over Joel. It's just like, that game is very depressing, dude. Like, truly. Like, that's like The Last of Us Part 2 might be legitimately the most depressing game I've ever played. It's tough. Like, you know what it reminds me of? The Road. Cormac McCarthy's The Road. I read the book, but I also watched the movie with Viggo Mortensen. Amazing movie. Like, the movie adaptation of The Road is incredible, but I was only able to watch it like once or twice, and it's like one of my all-time favorites, but it's very, very depressing. Like, I just like can't watch it because it's that depressing, you know? Like, I want to. Bro, Masochist Mode is just now letting me know that he's behind. This is so funny. Like every 15 minutes, I see him popping up in the chat. The Last of Us 2 was never meant to be an enjoyable, happy, fun time. Well, you know what? I think it's about time that we get some kind of happy, fun time, you know, sunshine and rainbows, Last of Us experience. God damn it. No, I know. I guess ultimately with The Last of Us Part 2, I've always felt, and I definitely felt this very strongly when I first beat it, like, holy shit, like, they really were just like, yep, this is pretty bleak. There ain't no hope. I'm like, okay. Damn. You want a Last of Us spinoff where they go to Dave and Buster's? I mean, yeah, there's some lighthearted moments in The Last of Us, I guess. The Last of Us 1 was more depressing to you? I mean, yeah, The Last of Us 1 was also very depressing. I guess I don't know. When I think about the ending of The Last of Us Part 1, I think felt better just kind of knowing that Joel and Ellie can have some kind of life, you know, like some kind of peaceful life maybe. They're going to have a golf mode. The beginning and the end of The Last of Us 1. I mean, the beginning of The Last of Us 1 is, yeah, definitely heartbreaking. This is why I think that Intergalactic might be a little bit less depressing. It is going to be about religion, so I'm sure it'll be controversial to a degree, but or maybe it won't, because I mean, things are made about religion all the time. Statements about religion are made all the time in media. And I'm not really sure that Naughty Dog can say something new or different. To be fair, the themes and the messages that Naughty Dog put in the Last of Us games were not new or different. But, you know, I would like to think ultimately it'll be a little bit less depressing overall. Or more depressing. Who knows? Yeah, the main character in Intergalactic is Nora in season 2 of The Last of Us. Didn't Druckmann say that Intergalactic would also explore loneliness? Yeah. And that's different, I would say. You know, he did say how like usually in Naughty Dog games you have a companion. This time you're just going to be solo, and I think that's cool. I'm actually curious to see how they handle that. It's not about doing something new, it's how you say it. That's what's special about both Last of Us games. Yeah, true. True. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Dead Space is lonely. Yeah, Dead Space was a good game. I played the remake and it was really good. It was freaky. Feeling lonely in a game is one of those things I most dislike in a game. Interesting. Well, I don't think you're going to be completely like you're going to interact with NPCs and stuff. At least I would assume so. Actually, how cool would it be? How cool would it be if in Intergalactic, after like that cutscene where you talk to that woman on the TV, you go to the planet and like you don't encounter anybody. Like you encounter like traces of people and like texts and stuff or like radio messages or whatever, but you never actually encounter a human being or like a person. Why did I say it like that? You don't encounter a human being or a person. You just don't encounter any like living like creatures, I guess, that you can engage with until maybe like the very end of the game. You mean like Starfield? I think they might end up doing something like that. The reason I say this is because they said that they're trying to focus on like environmental storytelling and whatnot. So they could do something like that. Yeah, Stray was like that, and it was really cool. Did you hear about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 news? I saw that, but I don't know if I'm excited about it. I will only feel excited if it has multiplayer. I like the campaigns of MW2 and 3, but man, I want that classic multiplayer. Just so you're aware, South of Midnight is a Strand game. Is it? Wait, how could this be? How is it a Strand game? Oh yeah, Returnal was like that. Yeah, true. True, Returnal was like that as well. Returnal was very lonely. I played these games. Yeah, Stray, Returnal. They both did a great job, I would say, of giving that sense of loneliness. But I wasn't even like aware of it, I guess. I didn't really think about it. It's actually like not until somebody points it out that I'm like, oh wait, yeah. You bought a PS3 because of Black Ops 1's official poster. Black Ops 1 was amazing. Yeah, that was a I played that on the Xbox 360 though. Great times, great times. I still like Call of Duty. I have that nostalgia for it. The game revolves around strands and how they are connected. Oh, okay. Hmm. Returnal's story was so dark. If you get the meaning, it was. Yeah, Returnal's story, the way it concluded, was kind of shocking. Where I'm like, oh shit. I actually really, really like the way that Housemarque handled it, and yeah, I mean, once you know the story and you understand what's going on, it completely shifts your perspective of everything you're experiencing in the game, which is so cool. And it makes me think about when we look at Saros without spoiling anything. It makes me wonder, like, are we looking at a similar situation? You know, you beat Returnal and still don't understand the story. They kept it a bit vague, but I think I have a pretty good understanding of. I mean, is there anybody here who doesn't want Returnal spoiled? Returnal's your game of the generation. Saros might end up being your game of the generation. Ray says, "Don't do it, MBG. Don't do it." You even watch videos on it and they can't agree on it. All right. Well, I'm going to put out some spoilers for Returnal. So I'm giving you a warning. But if you haven't beaten Returnal yet, to be fair, if it makes you feel any better, we don't even know if it's accurate. But if I remember correctly, basically the ending of Returnal, you essentially find out that Celine basically went crazy. She was like a mother, and she also, well, I'm trying to remember actually. She wanted to. She was in she's like part of like a NASA program, I think, and she had like dreams and aspirations, I think, of like going to space and shit, and like that was going to be her, you know, shit. Yeah, now I can't even spoil the game properly. Did Celine go crazy or her mom? Oh, I remember she like drove off a bridge, and I think her child in the back seat like drowned, right? Now hold on, now I gotta double check. It's been a while since I've been it. I think everyone is overthinking the story. Celine has mental health issues and is upset because she gets rejected by the Astra program. Okay. She enters a downward spiral of depression and causes the distraction that ends up crashing the car and killing her child. The entirety of the game is her internalizing and learning to cope with her mental illness. Everything in the game is happening in Celine's head. So, of course, you're going to get some mixed references, like her seeing the news reports on TV. The child is Celine's child, and what she experiences from the child's perspective is her way to try and understand how they must have reacted to her deep depression. She blames a lot of her problems on her mother, like hereditary mental illness, and projects the blame of rejection from Astra on her. She has pushed herself away from reality and fights against those she severed from her life in the end. She uses the key and opens the car door underwater. She has to face how she actually sees herself, an ugly and broken woman who sank so far into herself that she destroyed everything around her. She finally sees herself as the astronaut standing in front of the car because she knows that she caused all of this. The game is very much a David Lynch style dream logic story, so everything is a metaphor. The only thing that actually happened is the final cutscene showing the crash. Everything else is a manifestation of grief, sadness, and regret. So fucking cool, dude. So fucking cool. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You look at Returnal and you don't get that at all from it. You would never know at all. And I love that. Like I think that's what makes Returnal so cool is it's such a deeper game overall. And this is why what we just read, that's why when I look at Saros, right? Saros Silent Hill is a shooter? Hmm? Saros seems to also, let's go read the description of Saros. Announcing Saros, the next game from Housemarque. Saros is an action game with a haunting story of a lost off-world colony on Carcosa under an ominous eclipse. You play as Arjun Devraj, I guess that's how you say his name, a powerful solitary enforcer who will stop at nothing to find who he's looking for. Our goal is to create an emotional and powerful character study that explores the cost it takes to create a new future. See, there's no doubt in my mind, knowing the way they approach the story for Returnal, that what we're hearing there, it's going to be something very similar, where it's going to be everything's going to be a metaphor. And I don't know why, I just really love that. I love that notion. So you're not literally going to be on another planet. There's not literally going to be monsters and an eclipse. Or I don't know, maybe they'll change this time and it's like, no, actually that's literally what it is. That's literally what's happening. Her mom also apparently drove off the same bridge and crippled herself while Celine survived. Really? I didn't know that, Johnny Gaming. All this with phenomenal gameplay. That's why games should always be about gameplay first and story second. I mean, yeah, I do think that Returnal makes a strong case for, again, like having vague storytelling, environmental storytelling, and trying to put the pieces together yourself. I think a game like Returnal runs the risk of, people feeling like by the end of it, like, I don't know what the hell's going on, you know? But I think for a lot of people that'll be okay because the gameplay more than makes up for it. But I remember when I finished Returnal, this was like years ago at this point, but when I finished Returnal, I was looking up, you know? I was looking up all these videos and stuff on it, trying to understand it. It's going to be about him and his real life streamer girlfriend going through relationship issues, isn't it? Damn, okay. That's damn. Returnal's one of the best games ever. She escaped death twice, now is forever stuck in a time loop. Well, I will say, man, I'm very curious to see how Saros or how Housemarque evolves the gameplay and just the overall experience with Saros. Because I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the budget of Saros is higher than Returnal was. I have no doubt about that. So it's probably going to be a bigger game this time around, And I wonder what that means for a game from Housemarque. MBG, where's the PlayStation Showcase? Everybody's having a showcase except for Sony. As of right now, nothing's been officially announced. So, I don't know. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm guessing we're not going to hear anything about a PlayStation Showcase if there's going to be anything regarding a PlayStation Showcase. I'm guessing we're not going to hear about it until sometime in May. Even when it comes to like rumors, it would be nice to get something soon, like to get some kind of info. But let me see something. Ixtasis is teasing a Persona 4 remake announcement for the Xbox event on June 8th. Okay. What else? Anything else here? No, doesn't look like it. Turns out MBG is Jim Ryan's son. Every showcase is a PlayStation showcase? You think so? Definitely not true for Nintendo's. Well, I did say a while ago that I wouldn't be surprised if Sony was just done with showcases. They seem to have a pretty good cadence with their stated plays, but I would argue that I'm not sure that Sony can. I'm not sure that doing more stated plays in place of a showcase is going to leave everybody feeling universally happy. Why are PlayStation fans so anxious about a showcase? You won, nothing to complain about in victory. We won, but at what cost? The showcase was the cost. You would have been here sooner, but I shit my pants working out. Better late than ever, I guess. Well, I'm glad you're here, Fishy. I'm glad you could make it. I'm sorry to hear that happened to you. I'm not gonna. Oh, it's not a joke. Okay, all right. Well, damn. I'm sorry for laughing. Then I'm sorry that happened to you. You're gonna have to change your name now. You should have to change your name to Shitty Pants now. I'm sorry. You may very well be traumatized right now, and I'm just laughing about it. But you gotta admit, that's a crazy way to show up. MBG, don't you just hate it when that happens? I do. Yeah, it's terrible. Ice Queen Gaming says they're eating food. Luckily, you were home. Well, that is very lucky. If you weren't home, probably be telling a very different story right now. You probably wouldn't even be here right now. Laughing at trauma is the best medicine. Is it? Is it though? I mean, they do say laughter is the best medicine, but well, my dad works at Sony, and he said you'll never get a showcase again, and he's going to raise game prices to $100. Damn. Well, there we have it. Chris's dad works at Sony. We know. Now we know. Now we know. This is unfortunate. Why do I have these back here? I need to get this off my damn... Like it's a friggin... Like I'm sponsored or some shit. Damn you, Vlasic. Pay me. Sony just needs to start showing games. I think it's at this point, it's more about Sony showing gameplay than games per se. Because I feel like Sony has a good amount of games announced, but we're at that point where it's like we need to start seeing some gameplay. I think people Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't people get excited about gameplay? You were born like Aloy in Sony headquarters basement. Oh my God, Chris, that's a Horizon Zero Sony Zero Dawn. All they really have left to announce this generation is probably Santa Monica's new game, maybe something from Media Molecule. Maybe Horizon Forbidden Showcase. Guys, we're sitting at 12 members on the day. Boss is still very antsy. We'll see. I just want to encourage you guys, drop a membership gift. Drop 5, drop 10, drop 20, drop however many. Drop 0 if you want. That's fine too. Become a member. But let's see if we could get that goal up, because Boss is driving me nuts. Did I ever play the Sonic games? I've never got into Sonic, dude. Never. I've played some Sonic growing up, but I never cared for it, even remotely. I'm just like, I'm good. I had nothing against it. Just wasn't my thing. They're making an immortal Cerny bot in Sony HQ's basement to design all future PlayStations for eternity. Yeah, we covered this yesterday, Wes. No, I haven't seen the Sonic movie yet, but I know my son wants to watch it, so we'll probably, at some point, we'll probably watch all 3 of them. I heard they're good. I mean, I know Jim Carrey's in it, and I love Jim Carrey, so there is that. All right, boss, come on. Come on. They made Sonic relevant for a new generation. It seems that way. Yeah. I think Sega has had a pretty big comeback with Sonic overall. I'm not into it, but I can definitely see, like, they've, you know, he goes nuts in the 3rd one. That's not Jim Carrey. His name is Truman. The Truman Show. Great movie. Truman Show was a mind-bending movie. Like, it's pretty crazy when you see it the first time. If Starfield gets announced at the Xbox showcase going to PlayStation, the internet will go crazy. You think so? I mean, I think there will be a reaction, but I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would expect people to go crazy. Maybe though. Maybe I'm underestimating it. You were never a big fan either, but you respect the Sonic franchise and the character. Definitely a legend in the video game world. Yeah, that's how I see it. Boss is loafing. He needs to loaf. Loaf on, boss. Loaf on. Do I think PlayStation will embrace the new Nintendo philosophy on the high value of their IP and AAA games and start charging 80 to 100 for their games? It's a very relevant question. I think Sony would like to, but I think they would be making a mistake in doing so. I mean, it's hard to talk about what's going to happen with pricing considering that the tariffs just went through today. You know? Like I'm assuming everything's going to go up now. Like literally everything. So, I'm not really sure like if we find out a month from now or 2 months from now like Sony's prices are going up, like is that Sony's fault? Is that the economy's fault? If we're talking just strictly about Sony making the conscientious decision, like we believe our games are worth $80, so we want to sell them at $80, I could see Sony doing that with the PlayStation 6 generation. And I think that it might be a mistake just because, they'll still sell, right? Like Spider-Man 3, $80. Last of Us Part 3, $80, right? Bloodborne remake, $80. For instance, would Sony see a new AAA God of War game as having the value of charging $80 for it? I think internally, yeah, I think Sony sees it that way. I think they do believe that, yeah, this game is worth $80. But I'm not so sure that the market will agree with them, right? Like there will be people who would buy a new God of War for $80, but I guess what I really mean to say is if Sony does that, I think they can anticipate that the next God of War will sell less than Ragnarok. You know, I just think less people are going to buy it. I think it's that simple. I think even if Sony sees it, they see it being a game that's worth $80. I just don't know that. I don't know that they're really going to be able to sell more. Like I think that's something we might end up seeing is like game prices going up and just overall companies finding you're getting less sales, and so it kind of evens out at the end of the day. Where it's like more people are choosing to forego your product because of the price increase, but enough people are still buying that it basically offsets it. And I guess at the end of the day, you could see these companies in the same exact position they are now in terms of revenue and profit, where it's like, well, we're basically still doing the same thing. I mean, I think Nintendo is, they're selling Mario Kart World at $80 under the assumption or the hope that, yeah, we're going to sell another like 60, 65 million units. But what if they only sell half that? What if they sell 40? I mean, it's still a colossal amount, but it's like, I don't know. Is that why they raised the price? Did they raise the price because they're anticipating there's no way we're selling that many units? So we need to kind of offset that by making sure that every unit that is sold, we're getting a little bit more money from it. I'm not sure. I mean, you assume the be all end all is sales, right? Like Sony wants their games to sell more, Nintendo wants their games to sell more. But as prices are going up, that doesn't necessarily, I would say that's kind of antithetical to the notion of we're going to sell more units now. Now that it's more expensive, we anticipate we're going to sell even more. Like I think maybe these companies are just hopeful that they can get the same amount of juice, from the squeeze, if that makes sense. But the squeeze being it's bad metaphor, bad analogy here. I guess what I mean to say is I think Sony is hopeful or would be hopeful if they made the next God of War $80 that if we lose 1 or 2 million in sales, it's okay. It'll be offset because each game is now making more money. Each game sales making more money, and that will ultimately be more valuable than losing X amount of sales. But I don't know. I don't know. It's a really tough one, man. It's a really, really tough one because, is Sony assuming that Spider-Man 3 on PlayStation 6 is going to sell better than Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 1? I mean, is it what data is there to indicate that that's what will happen? I don't think that data exists. So let me just say this in regards to pricing. I think what we're going to see are these companies go into survival mode. Breaking news, Trump has paused reciprocal tariffs for 90 days. Oh, shit. All right, hold on. This changes everything. I don't know. Beast mode could be trolling. Let me check. Let me check and see if this breaking news is legitimate. Unless beast mode just trolled me. No tariffs here. Let's see. Okay, so the word pause is trending. Based on the lack of respect that China has shown to the world's markets, I'm hereby raising the tariff charge to China by the United States of America to 125% effective immediately. Hold hold on. Sorry. Let me get the actual. So Trump tweets, based on the lack of respect that China has shown to the world's markets, I am hereby raising the tariff charge to China by the United States of America to 125% effective immediately. At some point, hopefully in the near future, China will realize that the days of ripping off the USA and other countries is no longer sustainable or acceptable. Conversely, and based on the fact that more than 75 countries have called representatives of the United States, including the Departments of Commerce, Treasury, and the USTR, to negotiate a solution to the subjects being discussed relative to trade, trade barriers, tariffs, currency manipulation, and non monetary tariffs, and that these countries have not, at my strong suggestion, retaliated in any way, shape, or form against the United States. I've authorized everything that came before that, though. I've authorized a 90-day pause and a substantially lowered reciprocal tariff during this period of 10%, also effective immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So there is, in fact, a 90-day pause. This was real. So, Beast Mode, you were not trolling. No, that's it's probably because they have had like 70 countries approach them about making individual trade deals. The tariffs are still on China. Yeah. I mean, I think this is maybe it's good for now, right? I mean, it definitely it seems like in order for Trump to have executed his longer term plan effectively, it required China bending the knee. And China was like, no. And, Trump, I guess, put as much pressure as he could. I saw something trending earlier today where somebody, I don't know who it was, but they were like, somebody in a, I guess, position of some type of authority was like, we need to tariff China 400%. He was like, if we tariff China 400%, they'll be over here tomorrow negotiating. And maybe there's truth to that, but it's a dangerous game, what Trump's doing is high risk, and that's why you're seeing like the panic, right? It's high risk because if it doesn't work, you're putting the economy at like incredible risk. But yeah, it is true that many countries, it did work for many countries. Many countries are now willing to negotiate with the United States and hopefully, pat down a better deal overall, something that will be, more beneficial for America. So it is working, but then the 90-day pause seems to be it. If you're China, you're definitely like, oh, okay. I mean, I'm not sure though, because can you really be, if you're China, can you really be that smug though? When you're still being tariffed that high. So it seems like it's now just going to be isolated, seemingly, between them. It's going to be a fight between America and China, which I'm sure will have wider reaching effects, of course. But yeah, still 10% on everyone. The tariffs aren't canceled. So 90-day pause, which is basically 3 months. China's still getting tariffed 125%, 10% for everybody else. Yeah, the 10% is a lot. The whole idea of the reciprocal tariffs is it's going to hurt. The reciprocal tariffs hurt a lot more because it's just matching what every other country's tariffing. So this, doing a 10% across the board, yeah, it's a lot less significant. But it's still significant, but it's not on the same level as if you're, if you were to just go through with those reciprocal tariffs all at once. It's a complicated thing, honestly. There's so many moving parts, and the thing about the current situation with the tariffs is that nobody really knows what would happen. Like everybody has an idea of like this is likely to happen, and it's all because it's based on the markets and the market reactions, and it's crazy. It's been really difficult to keep up with and stressful, and it's a roller coaster. But it's crazy how our country makes a ripple effect to the whole world. Well, I mean, yeah, dude, the United States is, I mean, huge, huge. Did Canada give in? I actually don't know what's going on with Canada. I haven't heard much. Biggest economy in the world. The 90-day pause covers their release they shouldn't increase. So yeah, that's in relation to video games. Um, Nintendo. I mean, Nintendo's still in a shitty position, dude. In a way, because like, yeah, they're like 90 days is well beyond the release. So my assumption is they're Nintendo's not going to raise the prices, right? Like because worst case we have to raise them like 3 or 4 months from now. So it'll at least give them a clear runway to have a lower price point at launch. Or like when I say lower price point, their current price point. But yeah, after the 90-day pause is up, we don't know. I mean, that's a long time, you know, and a lot can happen in that 90-day period. So we have no idea what things will be looking like then. So this isn't you know, this isn't the end. It's just the stakes the pressure's been alleviated temporarily. That's my read on it. And so I'm assuming Nintendo will just kind of lean into that and be like, all right, well, we'll just keep it steady as she goes for now. Keep the prices what they are for the Switch. And as we get closer to that 90-day period or that 90-day pause coming to an end, then Nintendo will be forced to pay, and everybody else will be forced to pay very close attention and see, okay, what now? And then they'll react accordingly. That's my assumption. I mean, who knows what will actually happen? Maybe Nintendo will just say, screw it. You know, we're just going to raise the price, period. So that way we don't have to worry about it in the future. But the hope is that that won't happen. The hope is that at the very least things can just kind of stay as they are for the time being. You think Nintendo will take a $200 loss on every Switch? Well, if I'm not mistaken, Nintendo moved their manufacturing pipeline to Vietnam. And the reason why Nintendo basically got scared shitless at the last moment was because it turns out when Trump announced reciprocal tariffs, Vietnam was actually like at the top of that list of like they're getting tariffed the hardest, essentially. And so for Nintendo, they're like, oh God, you know, like we thought we were avoiding this. Instead, we basically made it seemingly worse or just as bad. Now it seems like Vietnam is, I guess, going to get that blanket 10%. So it's still going to, like, I don't know. Maybe now they would be willing to eat the cost. Because Vietnam tariffs the USA over 90%. Yeah, and I get it. Like, I understand, like, the notion of, like, well, if they're tariffing us that much, then we should just do it too. But I don't know. I mean, just in regards to Nintendo, it's like, so wait, the place we moved our manufacturing pipeline is the place that's, like, going to get hit the hardest. People think they will need to pay, like, a flat increase based on percentage of the tariff, but it's more complicated. It could be way more because the tariff could result in less sales. They could jack up the price. Yeah, I mean, the whole idea is people don't want to see things go up in price, but you know, what kind of makes me want to throw my hands in the air and be like, screw it, who even cares at this point is I saw people basically saying that when companies have an excuse to put the price of things up and essentially pass the cost onto the consumer, which ultimately ends up feeling like a greater tax on the consumer. That's the whole thing that consumers, when it comes to how consumers are hurt by tariffs, it basically ends up translating into another tax on the consumer level. because the cost gets passed on to us, generally speaking. And what I heard people speculating, and I guess there is some credence to this, is like anytime these companies have an excuse to raise the prices, they will. And even if the time comes where they don't need to charge that much anymore, they're still going to keep the prices that high because they know consumers will pay that much. And there is truth to that. Like we kind of saw that with COVID, you know, in 2020, and the prices of some things just still never went down. And that just sucks because it's like, yeah, that has to be the most volatile part of it, where the idea that you don't need to actually pay this much, but these companies are like, hey, well, originally we were just charging you this much to break even, or to just make a small profit. Now we're just charging you this much because we just want to make an even greater profit. And that does suck. Chris Brown, you're saying Black Ops 2 and Phantom Menace story in real life right now. IRL, bro. You know what's funny to me right now? The PS5 Pro is looking like a bargain for $700. So will Sony games go up to 80 or 90 as well soon? Well, the thing that I was anticipating prior to the news of the 90-day pause is physical games for sure going up. That would be a direct result of the tariffs, at least in the U.S. I'm speaking. I mean, would they go up in other regions? Maybe. I guess you would assume so, but I was anticipating that physical games are going to go up. But now I don't know. I mean, they still could. The problem is going to be if digital games go up. Like, if Sony announces at any point in time that they're charging $80 for games digitally, like new games digitally, then you will know that that's purely from Sony. And that's why when Nintendo announced $80 for their games, or some of their games, like Mario Kart World, people were immediately talking about the tariffs, saying that's why. But people were like, no, dude, like, that's for digital. They're charging you $80 digitally. That has nothing to do with tariffs. So that's just a Nintendo decision, and they made that clear. So, like, will Sony follow that trend? I think if they were smart, and this is, maybe I am stupid from a business perspective, but I feel like from the consumer perspective and the way I see things going for them right now, if they were smart, they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it because it's like I already see so many people that are like, I'm already not buying most games now. I'm very picky and choosy even at $70. And I think if they go up to $80, you're going to scare even more people off. And I just think that could ultimately be bad for their game sales. But we do also have to consider that Sony, as of right now, is a very profit margin driven company. And so at the end of the day, it might not be about the overall sales numbers. It might be more about profit margins. But the problem with being so profit margin focused is the more aggressive you become in pursuing that, the higher the risk you are of kind of shrinking your business overall. Because one of the most effective ways to increase your profits is to increase the price of things. The more you increase the price of things, the less of an appeal it may have to a more broad, wider audience. So Sony's in this kind of tough spot where they want to have the best of both worlds, like I've said before. They want to be able to have really good profit margins, but also have really wide appeal and broad appeal and overall growth. And those, that's difficult. That's a challenge. And considering the economic turmoil that's occurring globally right now, that challenge just got even, it was raised even more now. So who knows what Sony's going to do, man? Who knows what Sony's going to do? I just think that people should ultimately prepare themselves. Like if you're under the assumption that prices are not going to go up, like that's not going to happen for Sony. That's not going to happen for PlayStation. You can assume that, but I don't know that I don't know. I'm on the other side of that where I'm just automatically making the assumption that it may not be today, it may not be next month, it may not be this year, it may not even be this generation, but at some point the prices are going to go up, and I'm prepared for that. And that's why I'm just like, I'm already kind of fine tuning my perspective right now, where it's like I'm going to become a little bit more picky, about uh, assuming I don't get codes for games, right? Like I'm going to be, if I'm buying the games with my own money, I'm going to be a little bit more picky and make sure that I'm spending that money on games that I really, really know I want to be there day one for. But again, I think a lot of people are already there. A lot of people are already doing that. But yeah, we'll see, man. Very, very unsure times. Let me see here. Hold on, I'm curious what is Terrence saying? MBG, you bite in the games. You sniff the games. Sometimes, yes. Hanzo, you're Hanzo John Matrix. Commando. I always get the games I really want. Then the rest I wait for sales if that is the case. You voted for this. They're going to take my games. They're going to take my games. They took our games. PlayStation would never make a video lowering the prices of games. I mean, look, man, I think here's what I think. You ready? I think Sony has to see how their upcoming games sell before they make any decisions. Because let's not forget, Nintendo has the leverage. Keep in mind, Nintendo is saying that they're doing variable pricing, which means they're going to pick and choose. They're going to pick and choose which games they want to sell at $80. Right now, the first game they're picking is Mario Kart World. Why? Because they have the leverage. How many? I'll look it up right now. How many copies of Mario Kart 8? Wow, okay. Even more insane. 75 million. Mario Kart 8 is one of the best-selling video games of all time at over 75 million sold for both versions combined. That's with the Wii U, but it says for the Switch, 67.3 million. So the leverage that Nintendo has right now is they can say, we just, this is one of the best-selling video games of all time. We can mark it up $10 and we'll be just fine. Sony, I don't think has that leverage, dude. I just don't think they have that leverage of like Sony. If you mark up the next God of War to $80, I'm actually afraid that that's going to not be able to match the sales of Ragnarok. Don't get me wrong. I think Sony's IP is valuable and I think people will pay for it, but I think, Nintendo has that kind of leverage of like, even if we sold 10 million less of Mario Kart, we're still sitting at like 57 million. Even if we sold 20 million less, we're still sitting at 47 million. And that's crazy. I feel like for Sony, what they need to do right now is they need to see how their current games are going to sell. I think that's what they need to do. And I think they need to like see how well is Death Stranding 2 going to sell? How well is Ghost of Yotei going to sell? How well is Intergalactic going to sell? How well is Saros going to sell? How well is Wolverine going to sell? Because these games may not sell as well as Sony anticipated, or maybe they will. And if they do sell as well as Sony anticipates, then maybe they'll feel more comfortable being like, maybe we can get away with the price increase. But I think right now what Sony's got to do is pay close attention to how their games that are currently going to be $70, what are your expectations for these games right now at $70? What do you do if they don't meet those expectations? Or what do you do if they do? Yeah, that's true, beast mode. But I think GTA 6 will be a big determining factor as well. I think, yeah, that's true, Whiskey. There are two different things. You know what? Another factor here I will add, though, is maybe, Nintendo is the first. Maybe Sony doesn't want to be the second. Maybe Sony would rather be the third, the fourth, or the fifth, right? Because now all eyes are going to be on GTA 6. So if Nintendo comes out and says Mario Kart World, $80, and then GTA 6 comes out and they're like $80, I'm sure at that point Sony would feel a lot more comfortable being like, "Oh, okay, yeah, next God of War, $80 or whatever." And from that, I mean, it could be a domino effect where the dominoes fall much quicker, where maybe everybody will just start saying $80 for certain games of ours. Maybe everybody will just suddenly decide we want variable pricing. And maybe that could happen this gen. But yeah, there's no doubt that some people will be upset about that. Two price hikes in one gen. Well, there's also the idea of like, if you do the price hike now, before the beginning of the PS6 generation, you kind of soften the blow. So maybe by the time the PS6 rolls around and the hype train rolls around for the PS6, that's already out of the way. You know what I mean? So it's like one less thing that could potentially hurt the rollout of the PS6. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's a stupid idea. Who knows? Somebody knows. Somebody out there knows. All right, guys. So we're gonna do like a last call for any fan funding. We pretty much covered all the topics in the stream today, and it was a little bit political, but I think it's understandable given the circumstances. We're gonna do like a last call. If you want to drop any membership gifts, oh, hold on, wait. Sony just announced PS Plus is going up in South America / Latin America. Oh shit. Oh, there we go. MBG, there are tariffs applied to software, right? So that digital software sale does have a tariff applied to it. Are you serious? I gotta look into this. Whiskey Gaming, I had no idea. Are digital products tariffed? Hold on. I see a Reddit post about this. So, do tariffs as a whole affect digital goods like digital video games, music, and movies? The top reply, somebody says a digital download won't have a tariff, but Nintendo may still choose to increase the price as a general response to the new taxes on physical merchandise. In some cases, these prices can be hard to change, meaning businesses will lose margin instead, and you may not see an immediate change. Tariffs apply to tangible products. It comes through. Boss. Huh. Somebody says the game isn't digitally subject to tariffs, but the tariffs increase the cost of development. While there are tariffs on things like cars, there's also tariffs on things like steel, and that increases the cost to make anything out of steel. So it sounds like it could be kind of like a, you know, like kind of a domino thing, like I said. And Corey the Legend Landiga, I'm sorry, dude, I wasn't even paying attention. Corey drops another 5-bomb for you guys, bringing us up to 17 members. Corey wants to try to see if we can get to that 25 goal before we wrap up today's stream. We could do it. Boss has waited. Corey, thank you so much, man.
I'm no hero. Never was. Never will be.
So I don't know that there's actually like tariffs on digital products as much as it's the tariffs can have end up having an effect on the digital products or the pricing of them. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some kind of loophole of some kind, like that if somebody was crazy enough, they could find a way to do it, but I don't know. Wrong. Every time you hear it, you get excited for Delta. You don't import a digital game from Japan to the US. No, you don't. So from what I read or what people were saying, it seems like the idea, like the notion. It just seems like tariffs in general raise the cost of so many things going in and out that companies could decide like they just have to find other ways to offset it, I guess. But I don't know, man. Who knows anymore? Shit's getting so shit. It's accelerating at a rate that I mean, who can keep up with it? It seems like it's changing every day. And Capono 5150 comes in and drops a single member for you guys. He's keeping the train going. He's doing it for Boss. He brings us up to 18 members. We're so close. We're so close to hitting that goal. We'll see if we can do it before we wrap up here. We're close. We're almost there, Boss. Hang in there. And Titus comes in and drops another 5-bomb on you guys. They want the member train. They need the member train. Boss needs it. Titus, thank you so much, man. That brings us up to 23, so we're just 2 away from crushing the goal. Good stuff. Good stuff, guys. Love to see it. Really appreciate the support. You're saying it's really loud if you're wearing headphones and the mic is hit? I'm sorry. My bad. Corey says we're here for you. Can you give yourself a soundbite, Mr. Bigglesworth from Austin Powers? Titus says he can't let Boss down. All right, come on. Whiskey Gaming, Beast Mode. It's all good. It's all good. We can't let these tariffs tear us apart, guys. Just remember, all right, Whiskey Gaming, Beast Mode. You guys can both agree on something, right? PlayStation's the best. Right? Can we at least can we find that common ground? Pickleball review, please. Oh yeah. Yeah, I did say I would review that and give you my thoughts on it if we hit the goal. I did say that. I still have them here. And Corey drops another single. He's trying to entice you guys. Keep moving the needle. Corey drops another single. 24. We're sitting at 24. So this obviously means somebody's got to drop a 50 bomb now. Somebody's got to drop a 50 bomb, obviously. Unite, PlayStation Nation. We got to start a fight club. And Illegal Monkey does it. Illegal Monkey drops. He drops it. And he brings us to 25. Boss is hype. I get to have a snack too this time. Guys, thank you so much for getting us to the goal. Boss, you ready? Come on, let's go get some treats.
Boss, do you read me? It's time to feed the beast.
Thank you guys so much for getting that member train going and getting us to the goal. Are those catnip treats? No, we do have catnip treats. And yeah, Boss goes nuts for them, dude. Boss goes nuts for them. All right. Time's come. Gonna be trying out these Vlasic pickleballs, which do have MSG in them. So I'm actually really curious how much heavy lifting the MSG does for these. Oh wow, boss, you bit holes in it. MSG Pro China. I mean, MSG is not good for you, but it does taste good. So let's see. Okay. The bag doesn't want to open. Boss, I think you broke it, dude. All right. I swear it's not normally like this, guys. I don't want to like use all my strength because it's about to explode. Like if I like really try to rip it open, it's clearly going to explode all over the desk. So hold on. There has to be an easier way. This is, oh wait, hold on. There's a seam. There's a seam. They purposely put it there. You see that? We're good. So they knew it wasn't going to be easy to open. We're good. We're good. We're good. All right. Well, just for the sake of it, we'll use scissors just for the fun of it. Because why not? This is how I hand people scissors. Here you go. Just kidding. It's dangerous. Pickleball. Well, Mrs. MBG will be the first one.
Oh my god, it really smells like a plastic pickle.
Oh, holy shit! Is it good?
It is gum.
It is good. Okay. I mean, they really, yeah, they're.
But I like pickles. If you don't like pickles, don't buy those.
Well,
If you like pickles,
I love pickles. I like pickle chips.
they're good.
Let's
It
see.
smells a little OP, but it's good.
That doesn't look like a ball.
You got an oval.
It looks like a cylinder. I got pickle cylinders. Let's see.
Mine was definitely a ball. It's pretty good, right?
You know,
It's pretty good, right?
boss, try this shit, bro.
The smell's a little like. The smell is like if you put your nose in a whole jar of pickles. Like,
Mm.
it's extreme.
You know what though? That aftertaste.
I like it.
It's very corny.
They're corn
I mean,
puffs.
I know they're corn puffs, but like, it kind of ruins it a little bit.
No, they're good. You're crazy.
Those look diabolical.
They're not. They're good. I don't even know if they can hear me.
They're very airy.
If you like pickles, it's good. For sure.
This is definitely one of those things where the initial taste
Oh my god.
is
When
good.
I was pregnant, I would have loved this. I used to eat pickles all the time. You remember?
Mhm.
That would have been like the best snack ever.
I can taste the
Do you
MSG
want me
though.
to take them, or-
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep eating them if you don't take them. They're pretty good. The aftertaste isn't that great.
Oh my god. It's like a little sour though.
It is, yeah, I like it.
It's good.
Tater tot shaped. Well, there you go, man. Not sponsored by Vlasic. Was hoping for some chewy balls. Did you see the face that boss made when I put it up to his nose? He's like, what the F was that? But they're good. They're good. All right. I'm gonna have to intervene like big boss here. Beast mode whiskey gaming. We gotta make up. It's fine. Beast mode says he's wrong. Whiskey gaming says he's not wrong. So we're gonna make it right. Beast mode and whiskey gaming. I'm gonna ask one question, and I want an answer. I want a simultaneous answer. Is PlayStation the best place to play? Does Xbox suck? Is Game Pass the best place to play? Yes or no? I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm just kidding. It's fine. Muhammad says yes, then no. Wes says everybody hit a nice fat dab and relax. The Outer Worlds 2 is going to be the game that Microsoft wants to do a deep dive with. I did read it, Wes. I did read it. Grab some snacks and beer. You know, those things were pretty good, man. I'm not going to lie. Madden BG dove onto the pickle grenade. We going to get a cameo? Yeah, we're going to get a Madden BG mukbang channel going. Beast mode, you're doing the opposite, man. You're escalating. You're talking about dropping someone. We're gonna have to cool it. We're gonna have to chill out. Bro, Whiskey Gaming, we're gonna need an actual fight club. They're about to fight. If we were in person right now, and a real fight would break out. And based off of what Whiskey Gaming just said, I'm not getting in between it. I'm not getting in between that, bro. I'll be the one ending up in the hospital. Jesus. Well, all right, guys. I don't want to see any more pissing contests. Sometimes it's good to get your ass kicked. It can be, yeah. We're gonna de-escalate. All right. We gotta chill. We gotta chill. All right. I want to de-escalate. I want to chill. This is supposed to be a non-violent place. Where's Rich Rod? Let's get Rich Rod in here. Oh, he can get in between you guys. Rich Rod's not gonna like that I just said that. I'm gonna need both It's Beast Mode and Whiskey Gaming to promptly leave the chat for 2 minutes and go punch a wall. Let's see some bag work. There we go. We need a lifting session. We got too much test in the chat right now, guys. We're gonna have to have a lifting session. Guys, pick up your weights, lift along with me. This is clearly gonna have to be a new segment on the channel. Titus is in here flexing. He's like, yo, I can break up a fight. We're gonna have to drop the test levels a little bit. Drop them just a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Too much T-Rone in the chat. Well, I don't know, man. Hanzo John Matrix says, I love it. Every time somebody says I love it, I always think of that Will Ferrell meme where he's like, I love it. I love it. We doing standard fight rules or holler fight rules? I don't even know, Fred. I'll let you make the decision on that. You had 72 amateur fights. Last one was in 93. We got Titus Crow out here. Like a modern Mike Tyson. 72 amateur fights. That's pretty impressive, though. Well, Either way, I guess I do appreciate you guys hanging out here. It's cool. It's cool. Maybe we just need to play some Creed. You know? Nothing like a little bit of Creed to bring us all together. Titus is going to be the ref. I was legit about to start playing Creed, but the stream would get copyright. Yeah. That's exactly what I was going to play, Mr. B. Hold on, maybe I could play something. Beast mode needs it. Okay, I could probably play like 3 seconds. Worst case scenario, I just got to cut this part out, but... Tensions are running high. And we all know when tensions are running high, Creed's here for us. And that's it. Just a nice little growl there. See, we got through it. I was willing to demonetize this stream just to calm the chat down. Crossfade? Dude, crossfade. And this will be a good place to end it. All right. So if the stream just disappears after this, it's because Creed got to me. Their agents got to me, bro. But in all seriousness, I'm going to wrap up the stream here. I extended it a little bit. That song pissed you off. Oh, okay, Hanzo. All right. Well, I guess I had the opposite effect on some people. I'm sorry. That wasn't my intention. You got to add music to the streams. That was nice. Thank you, Titus. Thank you for the donation, the salute. I would love to play music on the streams. Before I go, I will say I've seen many Twitch streams or streamers who are just playing music in the background. I mean, like actual copyrighted music. And as far as I'm aware, their streams don't get taken down while they're live, but I don't know what happens afterwards. I've never streamed on Twitch, so I don't know what the situation is there. Video game music, you know what I want? I know that this would go completely against any time I have to get like serious or like rant or get angry. But they get muted usually. Oh, okay. You know, one of my favorite soundtracks from any game is straight up it's from Dark Souls, but it's the actually I'll see if I can play real quick. Dark Souls character creator music. Here we go. I mean, dude, I've always loved this. Oh, Resident Evil Safe Room. That's another good one. This is the one. Hold on. Play some Sonic Green Hill music. Dude, the soundtrack of Resident Evil 2 is truly horrifying, man. Not even the remake. Yeah, RE2 Police Station, horrifying. But there we go. Maybe I will add one of those tracks to the background of the stream. I don't know. I don't think I could do Sonic music though, bro. I don't think I could do that. The band Intervals, I don't think I've ever heard of them. But guys, that is going to do it for today's stream. The Magnus battle theme is epic beyond. So I did put a video out earlier. If you haven't seen it, it's a news video. Go check it out. It's like 12 minutes long. We cover a couple of things, some PlayStation, some Nintendo. My goal tomorrow is to have some more content, hopefully another video, another stream. We also should have, so we're going to be streaming this Saturday, which is a little bit different. We're going to be doing that for Marathon. All right. So we're going to be doing like a bonus stream this week. So please tune into that. Tune into every stream. But yeah, guys, please enjoy the rest of your day. And just a big thank you to everybody who dropped some direct support today. If you dropped a membership gift, thank you guys so much for getting us to the goal. I know it's not like, it's not like a whole lot going on right now. Volatile times, but really appreciate you guys still showing up and showing some support. If you dropped a super chat, a direct donation, I really appreciate it. So, all right, that does it. I'm actually going to have to vacuum Boss's tower because he's got treat crumbs and catnip. It's going crazy over there. So, all right, get some gaming in today, hopefully, and we'll be back here tomorrow. So, till then, take care, everyone.